What happens when a mayor's 24-year-old son literally waves his father's official badge at a judge and says, "Do you know who I am?" The answer involves the most devastating sentence Judge Frank Caprio has ever delivered, a father's public betrayal of his own son, and a lesson in accountability that went viral with over 15 million views in just 48 hours. If you believe that no badge, no title, and no family connection should place someone above the law, subscribe right now, because what you're about to witness will restore your faith that justice still exists. It's Friday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. in Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio is wrapping up the day's docket when the bailiff calls the final case, the state of Rhode Island versus Brandon Pierce. The courtroom doors swing open, and in walks a young man who carries himself like he owns the building. Brandon Pierce, age 24, is wearing designer jeans, an expensive leather jacket, and sunglasses that he doesn't bother removing despite being indoors. A gold chain hangs prominently around his neck. His entire demeanor screams entitlement. But what catches everyone's attention isn't his attitude, it's what's clipped to his belt. A shiny Providence police detective's badge, clearly visible, swinging from his waistband like a trophy. Several people in the gallery notice immediately. An elderly woman leans toward her neighbor and whispers, "Is that boy a police officer?" A man in the back row shakes his head slowly, clearly recognizing that something is very wrong with this picture. Brandon approaches the defendant's table with a smirk on his face, not walking, but swaggering, like he's entering a party instead of a courtroom. His attorney, a nervous-looking public defender named Sarah Kim, stands waiting for him. She tries to whisper something urgent in his ear, but Brandon waves her off dismissively. Judge Frank Caprio looks up from his paperwork, his experienced eyes immediately noticing the badge on Brandon's belt. His expression doesn't change, but anyone who knows the judge understands that he's already forming an assessment of the person standing before him. "Mr. Pierce," Judge Caprio begins, his voice calm and measured, "please remove your sunglasses in my courtroom." Brandon pauses for 3 long seconds, as if considering whether to comply. Then, with exaggerated slowness, he removes his sunglasses and hangs them from his jacket collar. The gesture itself is disrespectful. The delay, the attitude, the clear message that he's doing this as a favor rather than out of respect for the court. "Mr. Pierce, I notice you're wearing what appears to be a police badge. Are you a member of law enforcement?" Brandon's smirk widens. "Not exactly, Your Honor, but close enough." Judge Caprio's eyes narrow slightly. "I'm going to need more than close enough, Mr. Pierce. Where did you get that badge?" Brandon reaches down and touches the badge, almost caressing it. "My father is Mayor Robert Pierce. He gave me his old detective badge from when he was on the force. I wear it to, remind people who I'm connected to." The courtroom falls completely silent. The casual admission that he wears a police badge specifically to intimidate people is so brazen that even the court reporter stops typing and looks up in disbelief. Judge Caprio's voice becomes noticeably firmer. "Mr. Pierce, you're not a police officer. You have no legal authority to possess or display that badge. Remove it immediately and give it to your attorney." Brandon's smirk fades. "With respect, Your Honor, it's my father's badge. It's not like I'm impersonating a cop. I didn't ask for an explanation," Judge Caprio interrupts. "I gave you a direct order. Remove the badge now." Brandon shifts his weight, clearly debating whether to push back. His attorney, Sarah Kim, reaches toward the badge herself, but Brandon blocks her hand. After a tense moment, he slowly unclips the badge and sets it prominently on the defendant's table, not handing it to his attorney as instructed, but positioning it where everyone can still see it, where it still sends a message. Judge Caprio notices this deliberate act of defiance but says nothing yet. He opens the file in front of him. "Mr. Brandon Pierce, you are charged with the following: driving under the influence, reckless driving, resisting arrest, and assaulting a police officer. These charges stem from an incident on the night of October 22nd. Do you understand these charges?" Brandon shrugs. "I understand that there's been a misunderstanding that my father will clear up pretty quickly." Judge Caprio removes his glasses slowly, a gesture those familiar with his courtroom recognize as significant. "Mr. Pierce, this is a yes or no question. Do you understand the charges?" "Yeah, I understand them. I just don't agree with them." "Your agreement isn't required, just your understanding." Judge Caprio turns to the prosecutor, a sharp woman in her 30s named Assistant District Attorney Lisa Martinez. Counselor, please present the facts of the case. Lisa Martinez stands, holding a thick file. Your Honor, on the night of October 22nd at approximately 11:45 p.m., Officer Michael Torres observed a black BMW driving erratically on Benefit Street. The vehicle was weaving between lanes, driving 50 in a 25-mile-per-hour zone, and ran 2 red lights. Officer Torres initiated a traffic stop. Brandon interrupts loudly. That's not how it happened. That cop was profiling me because my car is nice. Judge Caprio's voice becomes steel. Mr. Pierce, you will not interrupt the prosecutor. You'll have your chance to speak. If you interrupt again, I will hold you in contempt. Do you understand? Brandon crosses his arms but stays silent. Martinez continues. When Officer Torres approached the vehicle, he immediately detected a strong odor of alcohol. Mr. Pierce's speech was slurred, his eyes were bloodshot, and there were open beer containers in the vehicle. Officer Torres asked Mr. Pierce to step out of the car to perform field sobriety tests. And how did Mr. Pierce respond? Judge Caprio asks. Martinez glances at her notes. Mr. Pierce exited the vehicle and, according to Officer Torres's report, immediately stated, "Do you know who my father is? He's the mayor of this city. You're making the biggest mistake of your career." When Officer Torres explained that he still needed to conduct sobriety tests, Mr. Pierce refused. Brandon speaks up again, ignoring the judge's warning. Because the tests are rigged, everyone knows that. Judge Caprio's gaze could cut glass. Mr. Pierce, that's your second interruption. One more, and you'll spend tonight in a cell for contempt. Is that clear? Something in the judge's tone finally penetrates Brandon's arrogance. He nods silently. Martinez continues. Officer Torres informed Mr. Pierce that refusal to submit to testing would result in automatic license suspension. Mr. Pierce responded by pulling out his phone and calling someone. According to Officer Torres's body camera, which we have available for viewing, Mr. Pierce said into the phone, "Dad, some cop is harassing me. Tell him who I am." Judge Caprio leans forward. Is Officer Torres available to testify? Yes, Your Honor, he's present in the courtroom. A uniformed Providence police officer stands from the gallery. He's in his late 30s with a military bearing and serious expression. He approaches the witness stand and is sworn in. Officer Torres, Judge Caprio begins gently. Thank you for being here. Please tell the court what happened after Mr. Pierce made that phone call. Officer Torres nods. Your Honor, Mr. Pierce handed me his phone. On the other end was Mayor Pierce. The mayor asked me to, quote, go easy on his kid. It's been a rough week for him. I respectfully informed the mayor that I had probable cause to believe his son was driving under the influence and that I needed to proceed with the investigation according to protocol. How did the mayor respond? He was actually very professional, Your Honor. He said, I understand, officer, do what you need to do. Then Mr. Pierce grabbed the phone back and became extremely agitated. What happened next? Officer Torres takes a breath. Mr. Pierce started yelling that his father would have my badge. He reached into his waistband and pulled out what appeared to be a detective's badge, the one on the table there. He waved it in my face and said, see this? This means I'm connected. You touch me, and you're done. The courtroom erupts in whispers. Judge Caprio raises his hand for silence. Then what occurred, officer? I informed Mr. Pierce that possessing a badge he's not authorized to carry is illegal. I attempted to take possession of it for evidence. That's when he shoved me, Your Honor. Hard enough that I stumbled backward. I called for backup and attempted to place Mr. Pierce under arrest for assault on an officer. He resisted, swinging at me multiple times before backup arrived, and we were able to safely restrain him. Were you injured? Bruised ribs, minor cuts on my hands from the struggle. Nothing serious, but he was actively fighting us. Judge Caprio's expression has become carved from stone. Officer Torres, in your professional opinion, was Mr. Pierce intoxicated? Absolutely, Your Honor. Blood alcohol test at the station showed .14, nearly twice the legal limit. Thank you, officer. You may step down. As Officer Torres returns to his seat, Judge Caprio turns to Brandon. Mr. Pierce, you've heard Officer Torres's testimony. Do you dispute any of the facts he presented? Brandon stands without being asked. Your Honor, that cop had it out for me from the start. He saw my car, saw a young guy having a good time, and decided to ruin my night. Yeah, I had a couple drinks. So what? Everyone drinks and drives. It's not a big deal. And when I tried to explain who I am, he got aggressive. I pulled out my dad's badge to show him I'm not some random person he can push around. He's the one who escalated everything. The casual admission that everyone drinks and drives, combined with the complete lack of remorse, makes several people in the gallery shake their heads in disgust. Judge Caprio's voice is quiet, but carries immense weight. Mr. Pierce, you just admitted to driving with nearly twice the legal limit of alcohol in your system. You admitted to possessing and displaying a badge you have no authority to carry. You admitted to physically assaulting a police officer. And your defense is that everyone does it, and that your father's position should exempt you from consequences. Is that an accurate summary? Brandon's attorney, Sarah Kim, stands quickly. Your Honor, my client is young and clearly doesn't understand the severity. Your client is 24 years old, Judge Caprio interrupts. Old enough to drink, old enough to drive, old enough to face consequences for his choices. He turns back to Brandon. Mr. Pierce, before I deliver my ruling, I want to know something. Your father is Mayor Robert Pierce. He served 15 years as a police detective before entering politics. He built a reputation for integrity and public service. Does he know you've been carrying his old badge around to intimidate people? Brandon shifts uncomfortably. He gave it to me. He knows I have it. That's not what I asked. Does he know you've been using it to threaten police officers and claim immunity from the law? Brandon stays silent. Judge Caprio nods slowly. I thought not. Mr. Pierce, your father is a public servant who has dedicated his life to this city, and you've been trading on his name and reputation while spitting on everything he stands for. Your Honor, that's not fair. What's not fair, Judge Caprio's voice rises for the first time, is that a 24-year-old man with every advantage in Saucian, life drives drunk, endangers innocent people, assaults a police officer trying to protect the public, and then waves a badge around like it's a get-out-of-jail-free card. That's what's not fair, Mr. Pierce. The judge stands, and the courtroom instinctively quiets. You know what else isn't fair? The fact that your father, who I happen to know personally and respect greatly, has to live with the knowledge that his son has no understanding of service, sacrifice, or accountability. That while he was building a career on integrity, his son was learning that rules don't apply to people with the right last name. Brandon's face has gone from confident to pale. Before I deliver my sentence, Judge Caprio says, his voice becoming measured again, I'm going to hear from someone who wanted to speak today. Bailiff, please ask Mayor Pierce to come forward. The courtroom erupts in whispers. Brandon spins around, his eyes scanning the gallery in panic. And then, from the back row, a man in a simple suit stands up. Mayor Robert Pierce has been sitting in the courtroom the entire time. Brandon's face shows absolute shock and betrayal. Dad, what are you? Mayor Pierce walks down the aisle with heavy steps. When he reaches the front, he doesn't look at his son. He addresses Judge Caprio directly. Your Honor, I've been present for this entire proceeding. I heard everything, and I need to make something absolutely clear. He finally turns to face Brandon, his expression a mixture of disappointment and something that might be grief. I gave you that badge 5 years ago when you graduated college. I gave it to you as a reminder of what service means, what integrity looks like. I never imagined you would use it as a weapon to avoid responsibility. Brandon tries to speak, but his father raises a hand. I received Officer Torres's call that night. You're right about that. But what you didn't hear, because you grabbed the phone back, was what I told him after. I told him to throw the book at you. I told him you'd been getting away with too much for too long because people were afraid to hold you accountable because of me. I told him I supported full prosecution. Mayor Pierce's voice breaks slightly. I love you, Brandon, but I won't enable you anymore. I won't let you use my name, my badge, or my position to escape consequences. Judge Caprio, please proceed with whatever sentence you see fit. I will support it completely. Brandon is crying now, his earlier arrogance completely shattered. Dad, please! But Mayor Pierce shakes his head and returns to his seat without another word. Judge Caprio waits for the courtroom to settle. Then he delivers his sentence. Brandon Pierce, you endangered lives by driving drunk. You assaulted a police officer. You illegally possessed and displayed a badge to intimidate law enforcement. And you showed no remorse. Your sentence is as follows. 100 80 days in Providence County Correctional Facility. Your license is suspended for 5 years. You will complete 500 hours of community service working with victims of drunk driving accidents. You will attend mandatory substance abuse treatment, and you will never, under any circumstances, possess or display that badge or any law enforcement credential again. The courtroom is dead silent. Furthermore, Judge Caprio continues, I'm ordering that badge to be permanently destroyed. It represented honor and service when your father earned it. You turned it into a symbol of entitlement and corruption. It deserves better than that. Brandon collapses into his chair, the reality finally hitting him. Judge Caprio's final words are quiet but devastating. Your father spent 15 years earning respect. You spent one night destroying it. He chose accountability over protecting you. That's what real love looks like. I hope you learn from it. The gavel comes down. Within 24 hours, the video went viral. Mayor Pierce's decision to support his son's prosecution earned nationwide respect. Brandon served his full sentence, and when he was released, he was different, humbled, remorseful, and finally understanding what his father had tried to teach him. The badge was destroyed, as ordered, but what it represented, real service, real sacrifice, real accountability, that lived on in a father's painful choice and a judge's unwavering commitment to justice. Subscribe if you believe no badge should place anyone above the law. Like if Mayor Pierce's choice moved you. Share if you understand that real love sometimes means letting people face consequences. Justice served, lesson learned, real leadership displayed.